Can we please start housekeeping comments?
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-2432. That's 909-396-2432. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10:01. I'd like to welcome all of you to the hybrid administrative committee meeting of Friday, January 16th, 2026. And if we can have a roll call, please, Cindy.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti.
Here.
Mayor McCallan.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Chair Delgado. She's still not on yet. But we have a quorum.
Thank you, Cindy. And we'll move that. She said she's on her way, running just a little bit late. So we'll start with item number 1, discussion items, board member concerns. Any concerns, board members? I see no hands. Supervisor Perez? Nope. Thanks, Manny. We'll move to item number 2, chair's report of approved travel. I didn't see any in there. And then report of approved out-of-country travel. Didn't see any. Wayne?
No out-of-country travel.
Thank you. Item number 4, review February 6, 2026 governing board agenda. Any comments or questions about that?
I would just note, Chair, that we're trying to put together, let me restate that, we're putting together a presentation on state implementation planning. It'll be a broad background for board members that haven't necessarily been involved in SIP planning, SIP development, and sort of what of the actions that we're looking to take in the near future and how it relates into the AQMP planning and things like that. So really will be an educational opportunity for some board members, and we're not having any public hearing items in February, and that's why we'll do the SIP education outreach.
Great, Wayne. Thank you. No questions. Is there any public comment on this item? Item number 4. See nobody in the auditorium. Susan, Wayne, anybody online? Nope. Okay, we'll move on. Item number 5, approval of compensation for board member assistants, consultants. We do need a motion. Move approval. Moved by Mayor McCallan. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, thanks, Manny. Manny got it in. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Cacchiotti.
Yes.
Mayor McCallan.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
Chair Delgado. Absent. Motion passes 3 with 1 absent.
Thank you, Cindy. Move to item number 6. This is always fun. Update on South Coast AQMD's internal community engagement program. Dr. Anessa Hurd Johnson.
Hello, good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning.
I am really excited to give you all an update on what we were able to do within our community engagement and AIR programs in the month of December. Please, next slide. So in the spirit that we have a board or an agenda item that involves our Young Leaders Advisory Council, we chose for our Fabulous Female Friday, Sophia Kiani. She founded Climate Cardinals at age 18. So there is so much passion from folks who are younger than us, whatever our age might be. But it's just a way to really uplift their voice. But She founded Climate Cardinals at 18, which was a youth-led international nonprofit, mobilizing thousands of volunteers to translate climate, air quality, and environmental health information into over 100 languages, expanding access to pollution and climate data worldwide, just making it just accessible to so many people who, we take for granted if things are not in our language, that our native language. So she served as the youngest U.S. delegate to the UN COP climate negotiations, and she really has just elevated youth perspectives on air pollution, climate mitigation, and environmental equity at the international level. So we chose Sophia Kiani as our Fabulous Female Friday to share with you all today. And that's a true thing. She was born January 1st, 2002.
Wow.
Right? Oh my gosh. So anyway, thank you. Next slide. So we just wanted to share with you a little bit about what our employee resource groups have been doing in the month of December. Although it was December, they are very active in planning for the new year. You'll see that they're kind of working together to kind of provide an overview of South Coast's ERG groups and their roles within our entire agency. And so we are holding an event where we got all of our employee resource groups together. We kind of defined a little bit as like an informal club rush, like when you're in college and you had club rush. And so we had 122 employees come on a Wednesday to be able to just like learn about ERGs. I think right now people are really wanting to do the work, but understand that in our communities, we have our own kind of perspective to provide that really helps us. And so that's what our employee resources groups provide to us as an agency. They provide that kind of cultural capital. So you'll see our API group, our Black Employee Resources of Change, and our Persian ERG are all planning for events that'll take place in the building for employees in the month of February and March. Next slide, please. In December, we had the third in our Jedi Think Tank conflict series. Again, a lot of conflicts going on in the world, and we're wanting to make sure that people are empowered on how to deal with it in a healthy way. And so it focused on practical system levels approaches to addressing conflict in the workplace. Each of our Jedi think tanks features some kind of video option and small group discussion. This one specifically focused on a TED Talk, why is there so much conflict at work and what can you do to fix it? And so people, 27 attendees attended this one, but in total we had over 77 unique employees attend over the entire 3 series of think tanks. But the video spoke to me. My takeaways from the discussion will impact how I engage with my teammates and leadership, is one of the comments that we got from one of the attendees. So that was our Jedi Think Tank series. Next slide. And we'll do that again next year. Our next thing that we'll get into is we're doing a book club for employees, and we're focusing on Richard Rothstein and Leah Rothstein's follow-up to The Color of Law called Just Action. And so that'll be another thing that we'll do. We also, for the first time in a long while, had a staff craft fair. And so we are being purposeful how we can increase our not only community engagement, but workplace engagement. So we had a multicultural Mercadito and staff and craft fair. Over 202 people attended. And that doesn't include outside vendors, but we did have some outside vendors. We had staff who did crafts. I myself actually brought some stuff out there because I do a lot of interior design, but that's neither here nor there. But it was amazing. Susan participated as well. We don't want to talk about it, but she literally sold out so quickly. It was very awesome. But people just enjoyed talking to each other and interacting in a way. And we got to see how people, what they do outside of work, and able to share it. And it brought us to a different level. So it was really awesome. And so we are definitely looking forward to doing it again. And you'll see the comments that are listed there. Next slide. And then for our infographics in the month of December, we again are very purposeful in the kind of month of December to be as inclusive as possible. And so we shared all of these different holidays from Thanksgiving until the Butter Sculpture Festival. It's our way to be able to be inclusive and show how different cultures celebrate the winter holidays. And so we still have a couple tables up of our displays, but these were the infographics that we shared weekly during the month of December. And again, amazing amounts of feedback from the staff, but more importantly, staff contributed to us some of the information that we shared. And the feedback that we got was like, this really helps me to learn about my fellow colleagues. So these are the infographics that we shared for the month of December. Next slide. And that concludes my presentation.
Great job, Dr. Hurd Johnson. Committee members, any questions? Supervisor Perez? No, thank you, Manny. Great work. Is there any public comment? Not here, not online. Move to the next item is, let's see, number 7. Thanks, Larry. Review recommended appointments of members to the South Coast AQMD Young Leaders Advisory Council, YLAC 2026. And I know when I looked through the staff report, there was a number on each person, their objectives of why they wanted to do this. But Dr. Hurd Johnson, go ahead, please.
Yes, so this is, we're going into our 3rd year of the Young Leaders Advisory Council being under the direction facilitation of the SEEP division. And so this is the time of year in which we appoint new members. We do it on a calendar year. We were once we have this next meeting in February, we will come to this group to share the annual report of what we did in the past year. We just had a level of engagement that was unprecedented. We have 20 members, and we are looking to have 4 alternates in case people have to drop out for school reasons or work reason, employment reasons. We had, I believe it is 11 of the 20 are people who are reappointing, like they want to stay. Like they're so engaged that they want to still be involved. And so we are just pleased that we had so much interest. We had an unprecedented, I think it was 80 some applications, which hasn't happened before. And so people want to be involved. So we actually had to turn folks away, a lot of folks away. But we're trying to turn that into maybe getting them to apply to the intern program. So we are just pleased with our direction. This list was shared with Chair Delgado, and we have recommended these groups, this group of people to be able to represent the counties that we have. And so I think it goes to this group, and then it'll go to the board. So yeah, and then you'll get the annual report in which we'll talk all about the wonderful things that they've done.
Thank you very much. So we're just looking at Chair Delgado's there. Chair, did you want to speak? Go ahead, take over the meeting.
No, please go ahead. I just jumped on, so apologies.
Did you want any comments about these 20 members of our Young Leader Advisory Council?
No, I just agree. It's so exciting to see the interest.
Yes.
Great. Committee members, any questions or comments about the 20 leaders? No, is there any public comment on this item? I see no hands raised online. Then we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And we move to Mr. Ron Moskowitz, Chief Information Officer, Information Management. Ron, number 8, status report and major ongoing upcoming projects for information management.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. Ron Moskowitz. Information Management is pleased to report the successful deployment of the 2025 PeopleSoft payroll updates. These updates include required legislative changes to support the 2026 payroll processing and generation of employee W-2 forms for the 2025 tax year. Our team worked closely with our human resources and payroll to conduct parallel payroll testing and verifications prior to deploying the updates to production before the first pay period of 2026. During this month, we also released the annual emissions reporting program enhancements for reporting year 2025. And finally, we are pleased to announce the release of an enhanced WarePop application. This update improves reporting accuracy through better facility ID management, integrated facility search, and streamlined reporting. It adds reporting to deadline fees, an updated facility review interface, and several amendment enhancements. Information Management works closely with planning to ensure readiness for the January 2026 reporting deadline. And everything else is on schedule. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great work as always, Ron. Your
Thank you.
department. Any questions, committee members? See none. Madam Chair, none. Is there any public comment? None in the auditorium and none online. So there was no motion needed on that. We'll move to item number 9, which does need a motion. Recognize revenue from 2016 settlement agreement, a World Logistics Center. I forgot about that so long ago. Michael Kraus didn't. Mr. Kraus, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. Just as a way, by way of background, back in 2016, the South Coast AQMD came to a settlement agreement with the developer of a multi-warehouse project, the World Logistics Center, located in the city of Moreno Valley in Riverside County. The developer agreed to pay as a way to mitigate the air quality impacts from the warehouse project, 64 cents per square foot. That would be paid upon what they call a certificate of occupancy. So basically the building is built and there's enough, shall we say, bio facilities for one to actually work in the facility, et cetera. And so then that gets certified. And at that point in time, then the settlement would be paid to us. We were alerted by the developer that the first building of a multiple buildings that they're planning to build out there, the first building is estimated to get that certificate this quarter of 2026. So those funds that we would get would be put into our air quality investment fund, number 27. The reason we're coming to you today is because we want to recognize those funds coming in and also authorize the EO to be able to accept those funds into that fund in order to what is quoted as to improve air quality in the South Coast Air Basin. In reality, those funds would go through like a public process like we normally would do for these type of funds before they're spent, and to put them toward things like incentive programs, emission reduction projects, technology demonstration type projects. So that's what we're asking the board to take action today to recognize those funds coming in and to authorize the EO to accept them.
Any questions for staff?
Just a question of the 40 million square feet that they plan to build, how many square feet are we occupying now?
Right. So this first building is going to be around about a million square feet. So about 640,000 would be the initial one in that ballpark. They're estimated about 40 buildings.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks, Larry. Any other questions, committee members? I'll entertain a motion.
Very quickly, I'm sorry.
Yes, Manny, sorry.
So obviously, this logistics center is in the next to the Badlands Pass, if you will, between Moreno Valley and Banning Beaumont area. Was it negotiated back in the day? And I'm not sure if it was. I'm just wondering how much of a percentage would actually stay in the area versus go to a general fund within AQMD?
That actually was one of the topics of negotiation. As I recall, Ito was, what's his last name?
Yeah, I
Ben
remember
Levy.
his first name, yeah, Ito something.
Maybe I'll take a crack at it. My recollection is that the settlement agreement itself only provides that the monies need to be spent on matters that will improve the air quality in the South Coast District. So that leaves it up to the governing board that is in charge of spending the money at the time we get it, how they want to distribute it.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, because I was in the discussions directly on that, and I recall that we wanted to be able to say where the money would best be spent. And that was actually one of the key negotiation issues, was that we control, and they agreed to that.
I hear you there, although I'm not exactly sure who the member was at that time. I don't think it was me. And if it was me, then I dropped the ball. I would say that, that area is that starting there and even into Paris and then going into the Coachella Valley, in the Badlands even, you do have quite a bit of warehouses, so you do have quite a bit of trucks, quite a bit of mobile sources besides the stationary sources. And, I'd like to see, if possible, I guess, negotiate with any AQMD, an equitable amount of funding, if you will, to ensure that area receives its fair share. Others as well, don't get me wrong, but this is specific to that. This site is humongous, and it's specific to that area. And so I just want to put that out there to see what we can do to ensure that we could clean up the air in that area, not to forget about the others, but, you know, have perhaps even a little bit more funding, quite frankly, a little bit more services, a little bit more programs. So I just want to put that out there, like we did for AB 1318 back in the day, Wade. You know, when we built that peaker plant that I built in Desert Hot Springs, a third of that stayed in the immediate area, another third went to the surrounding area, and then another third went to environmental justice areas that go all the way down to Mecca, all the way down to North Shore, which is about maybe 20 miles away from there. So that's something perhaps that we can get into a discussion in the future.
So Supervisor, we would, as Mike Kraus said, we would obviously come back to the board on the disposition of those funds. So you would certainly have that opportunity, but we certainly understand your perspective. What we wanted to make sure is that, you know, there was many times origin and destination points. We wanted to make sure that we were equitable, and we didn't want to make sure that we were restricted. That's why we wanted to make sure we had the whole district. And in answer to your other question, it was Supervisor Benoit that was here during that time.
All right.
Remember that.
I actually remember that. I got a call from a former LA mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa,
That's
who brought his client downtown, is working in the Attorney General's office, and we
That's right. This is
had a lunch over that issue.
I move approval of the item.
So voting on this?
Yes, moved by Chair Delgado, second by Vice Chair Larry McCallan.
Okay.
Roll call. Oh, but before we vote, is there any public comment on this item? None online, none in the auditorium. Cindy, would you please do a roll call?
Vice Chair Cacchiotti?
Yes.
Mayor McCallan?
Yes,
Supervisor Perez?
Yes.
Chair Delgado?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam Chair, do you want to wrap it up with the written reports?
All right. I'll take it back with written reports. Is there anything, Lisa, that you want us to review on your 4 written reports?
No, there are 4 sets of minutes from the Environmental Justice Advisory Group.
Okay. Board members, any questions? I don't see any hands raised on this item. Any other business matters that anybody wants to review? No? Okay. All right. So then that brings us to public comment. If there's anybody who would like to speak 3 minutes or less on items that are not on the agenda, is there anybody present in any of the offices?
Not at the auditorium.
Okay, I don't see any hands raised online. So that concludes our meeting, and we'll be going to February 13th, and not sure if we'll have a new makeup by then, but we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Take care, Chair.
Thank you for filling in.
Yep, always a pleasure.
Okay,
have a great weekend.
nice weekend.
Thanks, everyone.